Hey everybody, welcome back to another dicondissectional production hosted by Deathstroke9. This video is going to be a little bit different than one of my normal reaction videos because I've heard the song before. In fact, I've heard the entire album this song is from, and I'm featuring it on the channel because I really like it, and think it's interesting enough that I want to do more research on it. And what better way to do that than to force myself to do it by making a video about it. So, welcome. This song is by a band with the interesting name Neutral Milk Hotel, and the album is called In the Aeroplane Over the Sea. And the song I'm going to be playing is the title track off this album. Before we start, though, I want to do a little bit of research on the album itself. Now, this is not the type of thing that I would normally listen to. I'm actually still not entirely sure. Maybe Anthony Fantano might have recommended it, or maybe it was just recommended to me on YouTube and I thought it was interesting. I don't remember. But yeah, it's very unique to me. It's very unique. So, let's go over some facts about it. In the Airplane Over the Sea is the second album by the American rock band Neutral Milk Hotel, released in 1998 by Merge Records. The music is predominantly indie rock and psychedelic folk and is characterized by an intentionally low-quality sound. Traditional instruments, like the guitar and drums, are paired with much less conventional instruments such as the singing saw, the zanzithophone, never even heard of that, and Uillean pipes, characteristic national bagpipe of Ireland. The lyrics are surrealistic and opaque, with themes ranging from nostalgia to love. In the Airplane Over the Sea was recorded at Pet Sound Studio between July to September 1997. Robert Schneider worked with bandleader Jeff Magnum to improve upon the low-quality sound of the band's debut album on Avery Island. As Schneider could not afford basic studio equipment, he developed a recording technique that involved heavy compression. To promote the album, Neutral Milk Hotel undertook a tour of North America and Europe and developed a reputation for chaotic and physically demanding live performances. Critics were mostly positive at the time, but not laudatory. Over the next few years, the album gained an online cult following, and Magnum struggled to cope with his newfound stardom. He grew tired of performing and explaining his lyrics and disappeared from the public eye. In the Airplane Over the Sea went on to receive critical acclaim and is now described by music journalists as a landmark album for indie rock and one of the best albums of the 90s, yeah. So it has this very lo-fi, psychedelic indie sound to it, which I really like. The unique instruments are very interesting as well. The songs are fun to play. I've learned a couple of them on the guitar. And the lyrics are super interesting too. And the whole album has this like dreamy feel to it. It's very surreal. It feels like we're looking over a misty valley a lot of the times. And not only that, but the album is also like, it sounds like it's something out of a different time period. And I apologize for that really loud noise. Let me fix that. There we go. Anyway, so all that aside, this is that album. This is the title track of the album. I think it might be the second song or the third song, and it's called In the Airplane Over the Sea. Here we go. Lead singer has a very cool voice.
What a beautiful face I have found in this place that is circling all around the sun. What a beautiful dream that could flash on the screen in a blink of an eye and be gone from me. Soft and sweet, let me hold it close and keep it here with me. And one day we will die and our ashes will fly from the aeroplane over the sea. But for now we are young, let us lay in the sun and count every beautiful thing we can see. Love to be in the arms of all I'm keeping here with me. What a curious life.
Okay, so it sounds like we're like on a boat in the middle of the ocean, and there's fog surrounding us, and there's like a lone lighthouse out in the misty waters, and there's waves splashing against the rocks and against the boat, and that's what the cymbals sound like. And there's like a siren sound overhead, and it's that weird, almost theremin sounding instrument that's in the background of this song. I don't know what it is about this album, but it makes me feel very strange. The entire album does. And the unconventional instruments are really cool. The lyrics are all very interesting to me. And I don't know what it is, but I really like it and wanted to share it. Let's continue. Thanks for joining.
What a curious life we have found here tonight. There is music that sounds from the street. There are lights in the clouds and there's ghosts all around. Hear a voice as it's rolling and ringing through me. Soft and sweet, how the notes all bend and reach above the tree.
Going on here.
What a beautiful face I have found in this place that is circling all around the sun. And when we meet on a cloud, I'll be laughing out loud. I'll be laughing with everyone I see. Can't believe how strange it is to be anything at all.
I don't know what it is, man. Yeah, the title track is probably the most accessible song on the album, so that's why I chose it as what I would be reacting to. But yeah, that's Neutral Milk Hotel in the Aeroplane Over the Sea. So, In the Aeroplane Over the Sea is widely considered to be written about Anne Frank, due to the lyrics seemingly alluding to her, such as lines referring to her birth and death dates. The group has never officially stated that the album is indeed about Anne Frank. It is a popular theory among fans, and Jeff Magnum has mentioned the influence in her diary, The Diary of a Young Girl, that the influence her diary has made on his craft, and outright referred to Holland 1945 being about her while performing live. Like, this image right here is a good example of the strangeness of their music. I don't know, man. Yeah. All right. Let's take a look at some of the lyrics. What a beautiful face I have found in this place that is circling all round the sun. What a beautiful dream that could flash on the screen in the blink of an eye and be gone from me. Soft and sweet, let me hold it close and keep it here with me. In this... Alright, so there are people who think that the entire album is about Anne Frank. And then there are also people who disagree with that. The main artist has said that parts of it are. But a lot of fans will make comments like this. This album-long ode to Anne Frank. He comments here upon how beautiful she was, even at such a young age, and how wonderful it is to share the same planet as she did. Even though the two are separated by decades, they are both humans on the same earth, a fact that makes his connection to her even more real. And this person beneath says not everything is about Anne Frank, which is... I mean, it's up to interpretation, I guess. Because an album about someone being super fascinated by someone decades before they were born, you know, is an interesting concept for an album. But a lot of the lyrics while I'm listening to the album, right? I feel, that I can relate to. So if they're all about, if I go into the album thinking that the whole album is about Anne Frank, then I kind of lose that connection to it, I guess. So I like to think both that there are parts that are in direct reference to her and also the time period, but then also that there are more general lyrics as well. I don't know. Anyway, this line refers to the passage of time and bears similarities to another line with similar meaning in Holland 1945. Now she's a little boy in Spain playing pianos filled with flames on empty rings around the sun. All sing to say my dream has come. Another great song. What a beautiful dream that could flash on the screen. Thank you for joining me, by the way. I appreciate it. His life and this relationship seemed too good to be true, almost as if he was living in a romance movie. His relationship with Anne is like a dream to him as well, in the sense that it can never be real. His love for her is somewhat of a hopeless fantasy, as she is deceased, and thus it can never come into fruition as reality. He is also implying that her life was so short and could be considered so non-eventful given the time period she lived in that her life could flash on a screen in mere moments. The reason why her diary is such a success is not only because it is a rare insight into living in the days of the Holocaust, but that her life was so normal, and in the normality of her upbringing we can all reflect on what it truly meant to be a person at that time. Although love seems pure and eternal in each passing moment, it can just as easily be taken away by death or the complexities of life. Also, after reading Anne's diary, Jeff has stated that he started to have lucid dreams. Next is In the Blink of an Eye and Be Gone From Me. The verses of the song are written in unstressed, stressed, which give the verses a slow looping and sloping feeling. However, the choice to break meter and end the verse on two stressed syllables, not counting the tercet, draws attention to the last line and the singer's feelings of longing. That's very interesting. Yeah, a lot of the album's lyrics feel like poetry to me. One day we will die and our ashes will fly from the aeroplane over the sea. But for now we are young. Let us lay in the sun and count every beautiful thing we can see. Love to be in the arms of all I'm keeping here with me. All right? The message of the album is about leaving something behind when you're gone. In this line, a person's ashes are being thrown into the sea, leaving a part of them on this world even after death. In the context of Neutral Milk Hotel, despite Anne Frank dying, she left behind something meaningful and inspirational to this album's creation. This record could be considered what the band left behind, their masterpiece, or Ashes, as it was their last album. Yeah, after it got kind of popular, they stopped making music. I think the message is every person has some meaningful way that they can impact the world. Even though it is one of the least optimistic lines of the song, this lyric is still beautiful. This is where the album's title comes from, and it is even portrayed on the poster that came with the album. Jeff is described experiencing the song as if you were on a plane flying over the expanse of a snow globe. The ashes represent this track, the image he was trying to capture in creating this track. For now we are young, let us lay in the sun and count every beautiful thing we can see. Love to be in the arms of all I'm keeping here with me. What a curious life we have found here tonight. There is music that sounds from the street. There are lights in the clouds, Anna's ghost all around. Hear her voice as it's rolling and ringing through me. Soft and sweet, how the notes all bend and reach above the trees. From Jeff's eyes, he looks at the people walking in the streets, children playing, music sounding in the air. In essence, he's admiring the utter wonder that is life. But from Anne's perspective, the lights in the clouds are airplanes. The music from the streets is the sound of bombs dropping. This line is also an imagining of life in the annex, the hidden space that Anne and her family lived in, where the only way to perceive the outside world around them was so isolated that music from the streets outside and the lights they see in the sky above them. Jeff is embracing the curious nature of living so far removed from society while being so close and still finding beauty in it. Anna's ghost all around. Yeah, all right. Shortly after the release of Aeroplane Over the Sea, Puncture magazine had a cover story on Neutral Milk Hotel. In it, Magnum told of the influence on the record Anne Frank's The Diary of a Young Girl had. He explained that shortly after releasing on Avery Island, he read the book for the first time and found himself completely overwhelmed with sadness and grief. The last line in this verse is not only a callback to Tumbling Through the Trees from The King of Carrot Flowers Part 1, but is also a foreshadowing of Bend All Your Notes for Me from O. Comely. Now how I remember you, how I would push my fingers through your mouth to make those muscles move that made your voice so smooth and sweet. But now we keep where we don't know. All secrets sleep in winter clothes with one you loved so long ago. Now he don't even know his name. The lines are so abstract. It's so cool. You use your mouth to speak, and Frank's mouth, therefore, is her diary. He, Jeff, pushes his fingers through her mouth, pushes his fingers through the pages of the book. He makes her speaking muscles move by moving his fingers through the book's pages. Another, perhaps more personal meaning, is when a person is dying in a manner when they are losing control, OD, suicide, seizure, etc. It isn't uncommon to literally need to reach into their mouth to ensure that nothing will block their air pipe. Something similar to this is also required during CPR. It also deserves a mention that this is a thinly veiled sexual metaphor as well. Yeah, the lyrics get weird in a couple points as well. Two possible meanings spring to mind. All secrets sleep in the dark, cold parts of our soul. It is cold, so they wear winter clothes, and they are not active. We don't think about them, thus they are sleeping. This interpretation is the one I'm leaning more towards. Compared to number one, I have found that Jeff's lyrics tend to be able to mean things more specific than one lets on, and it seems to me that when he mentions a secret, he's probably referring to a specific secret in the real world, not a generalization. With that in mind, many secrets are represented by objects, a photo, a letter, a napkin with lipstick on it. These sentimental objects are kept in our drawers. The drawer that you wouldn't look at much might also contain winter clothes, the clothes you only wear when it is snowing. Those don't get looked at much, and neither does the secret because they are in the same drawer. Yes, a lot of people go very deep into the lyrics of the album, which is awesome. Another reason I like it so much is the amount of speculation as to what it means, or what everything means. A photo of an old boy or girlfriend that you want to forget about, or perhaps a loved one that is now gone and you don't want to be sad about anymore. You wish the memory was a secret to you, but you can't throw it out. In Jeff's case, the object perhaps isn't a picture, but instead a copy of Anne Frank's diary. The book literally represents the person because she is dead. Now he don't even know his name is the next one. Sorry that Genius is taking so long to load everything. Continuing from the previous line, this could either refer to an old boy or girlfriend that has abandoned their past, forgetting about their relationships and regrets and moving forward in life, able to throw the memory they kept away. Alternatively, in the case of Jeff Magnum, this again could refer to Anne Frank. As history has moved on from her death, less and less people are aware of the events that happened to her during World War II. In the case of Anne Frank herself, she is long dead, and her brain no longer functions. She can perceive and remember nothing, let alone her own name. What a beautiful face I have found in this place that is circling all around the sun. And when we meet on a cloud, I'll be laughing out loud. I'll be laughing with every one that I see. Can't believe how strange it is to be anything at all. Such a sad song and album. In this album-long ode... Okay, we already went over that. Yeah. Even though he and Anne haven't met yet, he finds a type of spiritual connection with her. Once he dies, however, he envisions meeting her in the afterlife, using the stereotypical cloud to suggest that the two are destined for heaven. This would elicit a happiness that causes a burst of ecstatic laughter that he shares with everyone around him. He expressed to Pitchfork that he often dreamed about his soul being in his body and that it freaked him out to analyze life and the human condition. This line could also be a commentary on existence in general, how a series of coincidences came to birth the human race and life as we know it. Yeah. The fact that we exist to ponder existence is itself amazing. The line reminds me of the old philosophical question, why is there something rather than nothing? As if to take it an extra step further, this could also be about the nature of consciousness, how utterly strange it is that the unthinking, unfeeling matter could possibly come together and create something that knows what it feels like to be something, to be anything at all. Seems like a very absurdist line, yeah. And that is In the Airplane Over the Sea by Neutral Milk Hotel, one of the songs off this album, which, if you enjoyed it at all, I would recommend giving the full album a listen and maybe taking a look at the lyrics. Only if you enjoyed it, though. And thank you very much for joining me. And if you're a fan of Neutral Milk Hotel, this is the only thing I'm familiar with of their work. I did not know that they actually had an album before this one. So let me know if there's anything else you'd like me to react to, or if you want me to go over some more songs from this album, even though I've already heard it, just to go over the lyrics, because I would love to learn more. And thank you very much for joining me. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. See you guys soon. Deathstroke 9 out. We are Legion. Thanks for bearing with me for this video that's a little different than what I normally do.